Hello, my name is Anitarky and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to support it. Subscribe and comment. Imagine if there was a disease that could make you forget the most important person you love, erasing them from your existence. Meet Sakura Azusagawa, who is in a library looking for a book. A girl dressed in a wild bunny suit passes by her and follows her. He watches the girl while trying to stand in front of people's faces, but they can't see her. She realizes that Sakura can see her. She asks him if he can see her and he nods. Sakura tells her that he knows her because she is a celebrity. She warns the accused to forget everything he has seen today and that he should have nothing to do with her under any circumstances on a train going to school. Sakura asks Kanami if she likes bunnies, what she would do if she had met a bunny girl. In a library, Kanami says that she would do double take, and then Gakkater, upon arriving at school, sees Meyer on the way to class, talks about her life as a celebrity and how she is always alone during recess. Kamaisto approaches Sakura and warns him to stay away. Kanami later on her way back home, then Kyuta arrives at the station and sees a man trying to take a photo of me. He blocks the camera by standing in front of it. The man seemed to have been angry by his action, but the man's wife tells the man to just let him pass, and then Mei leaves, thanks to Suyuta, and they start talking on the train. I asked Suyuta if he didn't listen to her when she told him that he should forget about what happened yesterday after he asked her about it. He tells her. She tells him that the bunny costume was so erotic that it is impossible to forget it. He asks if he didn't do something strange while thinking about her. He adds that he is fine with being the object of erotic fantasies for young boys. Mei tells her that she became famous when she was only 6 years old. Since then, people used to see her and she became public over the years. People would notice her and mention her name every time they saw her, but that suddenly changed, and it seems like sometimes she doesn't they see it, like people don't. She doesn't seem to acknowledge her presence. She says people couldn't even hear her, and that day at the library she wanted to see if people could get her attention if she dressed like that. They stop at Kyuta's house and he tells her that he has something to show him, so they have to go into Kyuta's room. He takes off his shirt. Maddie's gets startled and starts calling him a pervert, thinking that he wanted to harass her. He shows her his scars and explains that he doesn't know how or why that happened to him, but once he woke up with blood on the scars. She tells him that the same thing happened to her sister, showing him photos of how she cuts her body after being bullied on social media. She assures him that it has to be a teenage syndrome that is causing it, so he tells her she believes everything she says about not being seen by people, even when she's close to them. He asks if his case could be similar to his sister's case. He tells her that she must come back to show it so people can. I see her often before it gets worse. After all, she seems to want to return to showbiz. Matt is upset and leaves after a few days of searching for Math, but to no avail. So Kyuta finds her sitting on a certain floor and approaches her, and they talk while he gives her food since she was hungry because she couldn't buy food. After all, people can't see her. Maya and Sakura are in a supermarket buying things. Sakura talks to himself that they look like a couple. Mike asks her if she said something. Sakura denies having said something. Mei says it's funny because no one can see it anyway. Sakura asks Mei if people can see the carrot she's holding in her hands and what people would say. It's happening. She tells him that because of his invisibility, everything he touches seems to become invisible. They also leave the supermarket, and then Kyuta tells him that she really wants to see his house. He tells her that she won't let him in and she is left alone as they continue walking. She asks him if they are still fighting. He tells her that everything is due because she is not being honest. He tells her that if she wants to continue working as an actress, then she should tell him to mind her own business. He tells her that he knows things. He tells her the reason. It's the photo book that came out in her 3rd year of high school. Its conditions were swimsuits, which was absolutely prohibited. Mei seems not all that interested in talking about it and pauses as her hand forms a fist. Sakura continues speaking about the problems, saying her mother went ahead with the contract without Mei's permission, which then sparked an argument. Mine took a hiatus from show business to get revenge on his mother. Mei tells him to shut up, but Sakura continues talking about it, so she turns around and slaps him. She tells him to shut up and says she agonized and thought about it a lot before deciding. She tells him that she was just in high school, and when she walked into the studio she found a swimsuit waiting for her, and the contract was already signed, so she had to do it. She says she forced herself to smile, and her mother was just thinking about herself and trying to make money using her. Sakura, she tells her that if that's the case, then that's all the more reason to return to showbiz. She asks him why he is like that. He tells her that it is because he still has bitter feelings and that he should do it if he feels he can do it. She asks him where he found out about his hiatus after forcing him to tell, and he reveals that after the incident on Kai's day he met Kai, a newscaster who came to do a report on bullying, and her name is Kumiko Nanjo. Matt realizes that Kyuta gave Fumiko his chest scars to get information about her. She calls Fumiko and tells her not to post Kyuta's photos as it will cause commotion. She promises Fumiko that she will give him an interview of herself after signing with a new agency. Fumiko agrees that Sakura drops mom off at her house and realizes that they are neighbors. He asks Sakura if they could go out on Sunday. Sakura agrees, saying that he will make it. She tells him, although it's not a date, he said that Kyuta is ready to go and needs Mai to hang out along the way. He meets a girl who seems to be lost and tells her that he will help her find her mother. A girl kicks Kyuta behind and tells the girl to run because she thought he wanted to kidnap her. Sakura tells him that the girl is lost and he was just trying to help her find her mother. He tells her that her buttocks hurt from being kicked. She tells him that she hit two so they can be even. He hits her too when a police officer finds them and takes them to a station to make a statement. Sakura arrives very late at the agreed upon location. Matt tells him that he waited for him for an hour, and 30 minutes later he apologizes and explains what happened on a train. Mai asks Sakura why he is so worried about her and why he cares for her. Sakura tells her that he understands that in the situation she is in she will need someone to take care of her. Because even when the Kaide incident happened someone helped him through the situation, a girl named Shoko Makinohara. She asks him if he was in love with her and if he looked for her. After he accepts that he was in love with her, Sakura realizes that Maya when meeting with his mother because he had texted her about the showbiz thing. Matt realizes that his own mother can't see her, and when Sakura tries to remind Mi's mother about her daughter, she tells him. He says he doesn't know anything and walks away. Sakura tells Mai to come with her. They take him to another distant city where people can see him. They ask many people in the cities and find out that not only am I invisible to people, but they have also completely forgotten about me as if I had never existed. Arriving at his hotel, Matt leaves. To take a soaking bath, he decides to make a call to Kanami asking him about Mai. Surprisingly, Kanami remembers everything about Mai. Sakura asks Kunami to give him Futaba's number. He also realizes that Futaba remembers everything about Mai. They come to the conclusion that all the students from their school they still know about Mai and must find out how Mai thinks. Kyuta not to give up on her and they sleep. So Kyuta and Myra return to school and realize that Myra is still invisible to everyone except him. He asks if she is really invisible or people are just ignoring their shelves. So Kyuta, who went to check his class, Vital approaches Suyuta and tells him he has bad news. She says that it seems like all the students have forgotten about Matt and only she and Kyuta haven't forgotten her, which is because they didn't sleep, which makes them remember still angry, and because of Mai's situation they could forget her if they sleep. Sakura decides to buy anti-sleep pills and takes them. Sakura writes in her book how she met Mag and everything he is finished with her to be able to remember yourself if you happen to forget it. The next morning, Meg comes to pick up Kyuta so they can go to school together. He saw Kyuta tell him that he is persistent because why does he keep going to school when no one can? Seeing her, she tells him that at least he sees her and that she can't stay home alone at school. Kyuta meets with Futawa and discovers that he has forgotten about Mai. Mai tells Kyuta that she will help him with his schoolwork while she teaches him. Sakura notices that he is falling asleep. He tries to stay awake but fails because Mai had given him sleeping pills. She tells him that she will be fine even without him because she is used to it. Kai wakes up soaked in the morning and he will be late for school. Sakura wakes up, reads his notebook about what he wrote about Mai but forgets her because there was no name on it at school. He meets Futaba, who gives him a note she wrote to herself the day before she forgot mine. He gives a letter to Sokuru because the note said don't think about it, just give the letter to Azusagawa. He reads the letter which tells him that he needs to create a reason for people to remember his mind during exams. He starts to remember her. He connects the dots and realizes that he had forgotten about her. He rushes out of the classroom and walks out and stands in an open field and starts yelling that he loves me. He specifically mentions Mai's name in his class and everything she does. While he shouts that he loves her very much, I tell him that he didn't need to shout because she can hear my slaps. Then Kyuta tells him that he said he would never forget her. He saw Kyuta apologizes and she tells him that he should tell her that he loves her again. After a month he tells her that he will say daily. All the students start talking about Mac and now they can see that Kyuta is getting ready to go to school. Kaide is watching football. And on the news they hear that Japan has won. He tells Kai that he will go to school during lunchtime. Sakura and Maya are in class having lunch. Sakura asks me to come out with him because he loves her. She tells him that when he listens to the same thing for a month it gets boring and his heart doesn't race anymore. She tells him that she will soon appear in a new drama and there is a kiss scene. Kyuta gets worried and asks him to reject the offer. She tells him she will do it after all. It's not the first time. When Sakura is puzzled and emphasizes where she had her first kiss, she tells him that she gave him his first kiss and is angry at him for forgetting. He asks her where they kissed and then finds out that she was just lying. He asks if he wants to kiss, and he says yes. Mi tells him to close his eyes but she feeds him and he tells her that he indirectly kissed her. Sakura reminds him that he asked around and asks if his answer is yes or no. She tells him that she has accepted to have a date with him. The next morning Sakura realizes that he is having a deja vu. He asks Kaide if the news about the Japanese winning football is not the one they saw yesterday. Kaide assures him that it is the first time they have seen to the news. Sakura goes to school and meets everything she met yesterday. and realizes that she is having a repetitive day. The only thing that notices the difference is seeing Tomokopa being asked out by a boy who she tells she likes. Give yourself time to think about it. The next day, it happens the same way and he visits Futala and explains it to her. She tells him that if that's true, then there is a demon called the Laplace demon, and if he wants to stop the day from repeating itself over and over again, he must find someone who looks like it, to act different from everyone else these days that she has been repeating. Sakura looks around to see who it could be and finds out that it is Tomo, who is running away from Mizola, who is trying to ask her out, explaining that she saw Cuda. She says that Mizola is the Rina's best friend and classmate, and she doesn't want to cause a commotion. While they talk, Mazuo returns and finds Tomo on top of Sakura as they were falling after they tried to hide from him but failed. Mizawa leaves disappointed and Maya sees them too. Sakura tells Mai to give her the opportunity to explain to her that it was a misunderstanding, but she tells him not to talk to her again the next day. Sakura realizes that he is now living a new day and goes to Futaba, who then discovers that he is taking a bath and asks him what's wrong with her. She tells him that she is in love with Kanami, but then she can't do anything because he already has a girlfriend. She saw that Cuda tells her to go and explain her feelings to him, but she refuses to go and her dreams are shattered at work. So Cuda realizes that Tomo has joined them as a worker. He meets his friends who threaten to deal with him if he ever breaks her heart, since they now think Tomo and Sakura are dating. Sakura is out of work and goes home, and Tomo follows him and asks him. He tells her that they should pretend to be dating. That means they shouldn't always go after her. She promises Sakura that it will be alone for the first time. Cuda agrees after she complains that she doesn't want to end up alone. He's worried that Jabi will explain it. When he hears someone knocking on his door, he goes to check and sees her as Mai. She looks at him and asks him why he didn't come to explain. Sakura is left speechless. Maya and Sakura are in Sakura's room. She tells him that she understands everything, but she asks if that's all there is to say about Tomo asking her to be his fake boyfriend. He tells her that he considered it after Tomo told her that she would be embarrassed if her entire class knew that Misawa asked her out. He explains that he remembered how Kaide says that it's embarrassing to feel that way, so he decided to help her. Meg tells him that she can't complain when he brings something concerning Kai. The day he thanks her for understanding that, tells him that he should do something because if she just does it let go, then it will be bad in the future. Sakura tries to approach her as if he wants to kiss her, but she kicks him in the face and he asks to take her on a date later to make it up to her. She tells him that she is going to Kagoshima for a week to film a drama that starts the next day. She takes a bag she was carrying and gives it to him, telling him he can keep what's inside. He opens the back and sees clothes. She tells him, giving the clothes to Kaide so she can wear it and maybe have some courage to walk out. The door hits Kaide, who was eavesdropping on the conversation Mai and Sokudu were having while Sakura tries to call her, and he catches her. The dress that Broad made and puts it on. She thanks Mai for it. Mom says goodbye to Sakura while she goes home. At school, Cuda asks Kunami if Mesa was a bad person so she wouldn't feel bad for taking Tomo away from her. He says that Mesua has another girlfriend and is always talking bad about all this beach while looking for something she had lost. They help her find it. Tomo sees him by the water and while grabbing him he falls into the water. The next morning Sakura visits Tomo in the infirmary because he had caught a cold because of yesterday's incident. He gives her some food and talk about the other bad news about Tomo. It spreads that she sleeps with other men and that it is easy to get. He finds her sitting alone while people gossip about her. He approaches her and tries to cheer up Mesawat, and his two friends laugh a lot and make fun of Tomo. Sakura laughs at him. Mesawa gets angry and asks Sakura if he is laughing at him. Sakura tells him that he is making fun of him. Mesawa hits him. He saw Akut in the face and falls to the ground. So Akuta stands up and faces Miss Sala ready for a fight. He charges at Miss Ala and kicks his leg in the face, and Mesa falls to the ground and tells him that what he is doing is not right, and that he should wash his face because the spectacle with which he kicked him yesterday was when he stepped on poop. Sakura tells him that he is a virgin and he takes Timo from the crowd and they go to a quiet place where Mo thanks him and tells him that it's nothing like what Mesa said because she's just a virgin. Sakura is with Meyer in his room and she's helping him with his school studies. She asks him what career he wants to pursue and he tells her that he wants to marry Matt. She puts on her wild bunny outfit to motivate Suyuta to concentrate on his studies so that he can get good grades like him so that he can go to the same university as her. She says that she will help him tutor him. They talk about various things and it's okay. With the topic of Tomo, she tells him that she saw him fighting with Mizala because of Tomo. He assures her that he loves her more and she tells him to stop cheating openly when he has Tomo as his girlfriend. For now, Timo and Soaks, whoever he meets, will meet him at a school and he accompanies her to buy a swimsuit. They go out for a date, they talk, then Kyuda asks him if they shouldn't be thinking about a breakup right now since summer is very close. She tells him that she has already thought of a plan and explains to him the next morning that Kai wakes up Kyuda and tells him that it is morning. He wakes up, checks the date and realizes that it is July 18th. He goes to have breakfast with Kai on a train going to school. He talks to Kanemi, who asks him what his plan is during the summer vacation. Then at Cuties he says that he will focus on work, while Kimimi says that he has work team things and dates at school. Sakuta meets Tomo and they sit on the beach, enjoying their day playing together, eating and splashing water in the lake at the end of the day. Tomo and Sakuta day. They sit down and talk about the relationship they've been faking, say it's time to break up, and say goodbye. Tomo thanks Sakuta and tells him that he hopes he fixes things with Mai waking up in the morning. Sakuta notices Dot, who is having another deja vu, and is surprised. He checks the date and sees that the date is July 18th again. Everything is still the same as yesterday for Sakuta. He goes to ask Tomo if she has a repeat day, but she refuses and says which is she on the first day. Sakuta explains the confusion to Futaba and she tells him that maybe he is the demon causing it or that he is lying to her tomorrow. Sakuta is fed up when he notices that he has had 4 repeat days, so he takes Tomo to a different place than where he was, taking her the last few days. He explains to her that he is lying to her and that he must stop the act because no matter how much he tries to keep rolling the dice, his feelings will never change since he will always love Mai. Tomo begins to cry, and confessing that she loves him so much, he tells her that they will remain friends. Sakuta wakes up on June 27th, a day when he first had the repeat day, manages to ask Meyer on a date and she accepts him while he walks, sees Tomo rejecting Misawa, and then they meet and agree to remain friends. Sakura, when they are angry or coming home from school, they find a girl keeping a cat from getting wet in the rain. Sakuta goes and takes the cat and he tells the girl to take hers. Since she said she wanted to adopt the cat, he asked her name. She tells him her name is Shoko Makinohara. He remembers the name of the girl who helped him when he was going through a difficult time. Sakuta wakes up and finds Shoko, and at home she tells him that although she wants to adopt the cat, she has not explained it to her parents. Sakuta tells him that the cat can stay in his house as long as he can and that he can get it when everything is settled. Sakuta asks himself why Shoko looks exactly the same as the Shoko he met some time ago. He tells himself that he should ask Futaba about it. Sakuta beats Futaba to the library and she explains that it's hot and that's why she can't let her hair down. As usual, and not wearing glasses, Sakuta explains to her about Shakomik and Ohara and she tells him that there may be about 3 people in the world, so it's obviously just another version of her. He asks if that is causing him any problems. Hurt, and he says it's not like that. They let him pass and start talking about other things and they separate. She is at work and he has given her a surprise. She tells him that the filming ended early so she came to see him. She waits. He asks him to finish their shift so they can lead the way home together. They see Futaba entering an internet cafe as they follow her inside the cafe. They lose sight of her. Sakuta borrows Mai's phone and calls Futaba. He starts talking to her on the phone and then he finds out that the Futaba who is in the cafe is not the one he is talking to. He hangs up the phone and starts talking to the Futaba who is in the cafe. She explains to him that there are actually very few of us and he was talking on the phone is who he met in the library. Sakuta asks Mai if she can allow Futaba to sleep at her house in the meantime, while she searches for a solution to resolve the mess. Mike tells her that she will stay at his house too. During the night, Mai speaks from Sakuta's room. She was sleeping with Futaba and goes to talk to Sakuta, who is sleeping on the couch. Meg tells him she was hoping he would take her on a date, but she knows you'll be there tomorrow. Looking for a way to fix Futaba's situation while they talk, Sokudu reminds her that he loves her and tries to kiss her, but she stops him midway and tells him goodnight as she returns to the room in the morning. Sokudu goes to school to meet Futaba, who is watching Kanemi while playing basketball with her teammates, and approaches her and tells her that he has another Futaba at his house. She asks him what he thinks about the situation and he tells her that he thinks it has to do with quantum teleportation. She tells him that she thinks the same thing. She tells him that the Futaba at home is lying when he says that he doesn't know the reason why this has happened because she knows that Sawakuta makes a phone call and talks to Mai on his own phone. He tells her, if Futaba has been there all this time. She tells him that she has been there and that she also has some news to talk to him about because she had a phone call with her manager. Then Cuter runs into Kimisato, who asks her if she knows to Futaba and he tells her that he really knows her. She gives him her phone and shows him Futaba's private account where she posts sexy photos showing off her body. She asks him if what Futaba is doing isn't risky. So Cuta asks Futaba if she can talk to him while she takes a bath and she tells him it's okay. He tells her what the other Futaba is doing. She tells him that she created that account so she can post it so people can say something about her that I can cheer her up because she doesn't like herself. He asked if she wants the other Futaba to stop him, tells him that she wants him too, so he promises her that he will go to her other self and make him stop. Sakuta meets Mai and she tells him that her agency told her to stop. She meets with her boyfriend privately and Cuta accepts, even though she doesn't like it. The next day, Cuta meets up with the other Futaba at the station and goes to school. He tries to talk to her about it. She asks him why he is lecturing her to stop what she was doing next when he tells her that at the end of the day she should do what she thinks is right for her on her way back while they wait for the train. Futaba receives a text message from an anonymous person who wants to meet with her because of the photos she was posting. She gets scared. She tells Soko to delete the account and tells her to sleep at her house with her because there is no one to protect her. Sakuta accepts. Sleeping at his house during the night, Futaba stresses out Sawakuta as she felt lonely and thought that Kanemi and him would forget about her after having found girlfriends, and that's why his attention for her will die. He assures her that he will never abandon her. He uses his phone and calls Kanemi to meet at the station Honka Genua and tells him that Futaba is in trouble. Kanemi appears at the station before they start talking and plan to spend time playing on the beach. They stay all night until the sun rises. To go out, Sakuta returns to his house with Fudale's phone while she hands it to him so he can give it to Futaba, who is at her house. He arrives at his house. He gives the phone to Futaba and tells her that he will talk to her after sleeping a little. While waking up from his dream, Sakuta finds out that Futaba has left the house even though it is raining a lot. He calls the other Futaba and she tells him that the other Futabit didn't come home, but she gives him a clue. Where would I find it? He goes to school and finds Futaba there. She complains to him. As the other Futaba looks happy upon seeing a photo of Kanemi, Sakuta and the other Futaba, he tells her that he wants her to attend the fireworks festival that he and the other Futaba have planned to attend. As he leaves the room and faints. When he wakes up in the hospital, he sees Mai, who is there taking care of him, and she tells him that Futaba called her to come. She goes to meet Futaba and encourages her not to live. She tells her about her experience and helps her see life with an attitude positive. She tells him he's the worst, but it's a huge relief to hear. She also asks him to go see the fireworks. He tells her to ask the other Futaba. She steals herself and asks the other Futaba on the phone and then disappears. Sakuta takes to the phone. Here is Futaba telling him that they have reconnected and RS1 again. Futaba and Sakuta attend the fireworks together. Summer vacation is over and all the students return to school. Sakura looks around for Mai, but can't seem to find her. She said she would go back to school after summer vacation. He decides to go to her house to see her. He sees her standing on the side of the road near her house. He calls her name as he approaches her, but she asks who he is. Sakuta. He is surprised and keeps telling her that she is his girlfriend. But then she tells him that she could be his sister. Another girl appears and she tells him that Mahai has met his Madoka Toyohama while she is the real one. They can explain that they have changed bodies. While they were sleeping, Sakuta finds out that it is another cause of puberty syndrome. They enter the house to talk about it. They decide to play along while waiting for the solution. Nadoka to act as man made to act as Nadoka. Mai tells Nadoka that in the meantime, they must learn each other's work and act accordingly so that others notice. Sakuta goes to talk to Futaba and she tells him to pay attention to the open clues if he needs to solve the problem. Sakuta goes to the beach with Nadoka, who is trapped in Mai's body. He starts asking her questions, saying why doesn't she address the angry older sister around her. He continues by asking why he doesn't tell the man that he hates his Nadoka. He tries to deny the hatred in Mai, but then admits that he hates her because her mother keeps comparing her to Mai at night. Nadoka asks Sakuta if she can sleep at her house since she hates Mad and can't sleep at Mai's place. Sakuta tells her that they wouldn't be comfortable with that. That's how Mai finds them and asks them what they are talking about. Yudoka angrily tells her how he feels about her. He tells her that he hates her a lot and she keeps getting in his way since her return to show business has made her lose something. Contracts, and his mother is not as happy as when Matt went on hiatus. Matt tells Nadoka that she feels the same way about her magazine. Nadoka's body goes to sleep at Sauda's house. Silakuta is going through a photo of Madoka that is on Mai's body. He watches the shoot and sees her faint during the shoot. He visits the real Mang and explains to her what happened at school. Kanemi asks Sakuta why he seems to be in a bad mood. He tells her that he wishes he had an older sister that people could have. He compared him to Kanemi. He calls Kamisato and tells him that Sok wants to order something. Sakuta asks him if he hates his older sister. She tells him that she doesn't like his sister and that she doesn't hate her either. Sakuta finds out what is happening to him. Nadoka and Mai. It's not a matter of like or hate. Sakuta meets the real mind. She gives him a spare key to her house and tells him to never open the cabinets in the Japanese-style room. He visits Mai's house and talks to the real Naboka. He tells her. She takes a bath while he prepares something for her to eat while she takes a bath. Sakuta tries to open the cabinets that he might be told not to open. Sakuta opens the cabinets that he might be told not to open. She looks at what's inside and says she just wishes Menoka could hurry up and put on her makeup. Sakuta arrives home and Mag tells her that she's late. He tells her that he was cleaning things and washing dishes. She asks him if that's what he was doing. He says that he was also thinking about that Nadoka and he should put on makeup the next day. Sawakuta sees Kaide wearing a school uniform and she asks him for a compliment, but he tells her that it smells like Masu's Kaide's closet. And he tells her that she looks pretty in that uniform and she gives him a souvenir of a meal. Sakuta is looking at Madoka while she is being filmed for some commercials. Madoka does it well. and then Kyuta takes her to the beach and tells her that she is tired of living under pressure and who does not want to receive a call from Mai but gives the phone to Sokyuta. Mai tells Sokyuta that her father called and tells him that he should meet with him in 2 nights, and he tells her that Odoka managed to do the commercials well. Oka and Sokyuta meet with Nadoka's mother, who scolds Madoka saying that she loves her. The returned daughter, Nadoka, who is in Mai's body, tells her that her daughter did not come to her house and that if she wants she can check the inside of the house. Her mother tells her that if she sees her she should tell her to return to her Lord Kyuta. He meets his father and they talk about Kai's day. He tells his father that he is doing well and asks him how it feels to be a father. His father tells him that one day he will know when he becomes a father. Doka and Sokyuta attend the show. Maya had invited them by giving the tickets to Sarakyuta. Madoka is surprised to see that My Inner Body performs well in the show to the point that it appears in Sweet Bullet's new song, while at the end of the show she sees her mother so happy. She gets angry, and angry on the way back she tells Sokyuta that she wants to go to the beach. When she gets to the beach she starts running towards the waters. Sokyuta realizes that she might have plans to drown, so he stops her and asks her what is she doing. She tells her that no one needs her, so she should die. She tells her that her older sister hates her and that she is better at everything. Sokyuta pulls her out of the water and tells her that if she has anything to show him, he opens the cabinet and gives it to her. The box he had opened last time, he sees all the letters he has been writing to his sister. He tells Sokyuta that he always felt bad after finding out that Maya is not his real sister at all. So he stopped writing the letters and finds it hard that Maya was saving all those letters. Sokyuta calls mom and asks her what she has to say after he notices that she is right behind the doormat and tells her Nadoka, who finds that Nadoka is different from all people because he sent her letters saying that she is amazing and wonderful. Nadoka begins crying, saying angry like everything correctly, and while she's there even her mother hates her because she can't do what Mine does, mass slaps Sokudu because she couldn't slap Madoka for acting like a spoiled brat. She hunts down her sister, tells her she should do it. He tries to make his mother happy and thanks her for being his sister as they hug, swap bodies, and begin to rejoice. Madoka moves in with the man after having another fight with her mother. She could receive a photo of Sakuta and Devoka, who was in Mai's body at the time, and the photo was posted online asking if Kyuta is her boyfriend. Mai is at a press conference and is asked who saw Kyuta. She explains that Sokyuta is her boyfriend and that he is very innocent, so if he doesn't wants people to stalk your privacy and post it on the internet. She tells the press to stop interfering in her private life just because he is her boyfriend. It has nothing to do with show business. The press agrees. Kaide, who is watching the interview, says that Maya is amazing, and tells herself that she should also do something for Sakuta by setting goals for herself this year. Sakuta just got home from school after dropping mom off. He comes home and finds a letter in the mailbox that says it comes from Shoko Makinohara. He shows the letter to Futaba, who tells him to talk to Mai about it since Shoko is asking to meet him at the beach. Sakuta tells her that he doesn't know what to say to her, so she texts me while they talk. Matt tells Kyuta he can go ahead and meet up. Shoko, but I should be back at 6 o'clock outside of school. Sokyuta meets Kano, a friend of Kaide's from his school, who tells Sokyuta that he needs to talk to him. Sakuta tells Mai to go to the beach to meet Shoko while he talks with Kano. Kano tells her that she feels bad for not doing anything for Kai's date during the time she was bullied, but now she wants to meet her, so Sakuta tells her that the day she meets Kai will stump things. He goes to the beach and meets Meg, who is waiting for him, notices that Shoko didn't show up, so she tells the man that they should leave and leaves a note for Shoko telling her that he now has a girlfriend. So Sakuta comes home and sees Kaido showing him your goals about going out, and starts enjoying life outside her house and also answering phone calls from other people besides her brother. Mai also agrees with Kaide and starts calling the house to talk to her on the phone. Sakuta helps Kaide overcome his fears of going out. He begins to take her out of the house to the beach with Maya and Adoka. On the beach, Kano appears and calls Kai on the day. Kaide asks Kano who he is, and Maya is surprised by the situation and asks what is happening. Sakuta tells him that Kaide doesn't have memory of his life. He saw Cutitas back home with Mine and Adoka, and he starts to explain to them how the day Kai lost his memory. He tells them that puberty syndrome happened when she was bullied by her schoolmates and got embarrassed one day. Kaide wakes up and all of his memories of everyone in his life are gone, as he hopes that forgetting everything will stop him from making the biggest mistake. His mother could not accept the situation and ended up losing her mind, while Sakuta woke up with large scars on his chest. And when he explained to the doctors, no one believed him. He told him that his father went to take care of his mother from another place while he takes care of Kaide. Mai tells him that she's glad he explained it to her even though it's so late. The next day, Soku finds Kaide wearing a uniform and she tells him that she wants to go out. He tells her that she doesn't have to exaggerate. She tells him that she wants to go to school so badly. Sakuta explains to her father about Kai's day after talking. After this, his father tells him to introduce him to his girlfriend after everything is settled. Tomo visits Sokuta and Kaide and explains to them that Kaide can go back to school even if she will go to the infirmary, but she will count as her. She has gone to school, but she has to go when she is ready. The next day, Sakura on Kai's day from the company to school, but when she sees other students she gets scared and hides. Sakuta tells her that she doesn't need to force him. They can still go back home. She insists that Sakura take her to the zoo to see pandas and other animals returning from the zoo. He takes her straight to school at night, knowing that no one will be there. He shows her around and she tells him what she will do, making an effort and making sure he comes to school during the day. Upon waking up the next morning, Sokuta realizes that Kaide has once again lost his memories of everything they did yesterday, while he could have helped his sister recover the memories or he won't make it.